You do not have to be religious to find salvation. If you're searching for God, for yourself, for something more, this message is for you. This is a message for the spiritually curious, those on a journey to discover God, themselves, and enlightenment beyond religion. Religion presents salvation as a free gift from God, but this is not a free gift at all. Religious salvation appears to be more manufactured than organic. It looks less like a divine gift and more like a product, customized and branded by each religion and marketed as the only authentic version. The cost? Your mind, your identity, your freedom. But what if salvation isn't something you earn through religious loyalty? What if it's something you awaken to? What if I told you being saved has nothing to do with what religion can offer, and everything to do with becoming your truest, most liberated self? Salvation was never about living to become a good Christian, a loyal Muslim, a pious Jew, or a deeply spiritual Buddhist. Salvation is recognizing your innate spiritual gifts. It is about living your life authentically. It is about encountering God, not in a book or in a church, but in the exploration of your personal spiritual journey. It is not about making it into heaven when you die. It's about creating your own heaven on earth while you're alive. Religious salvation is believed to be a promise of deliverance from suffering, sin, and separation from the divine. We are taught that the path to God's promises runs exclusively through religion. That salvation is something only religion can provide. But here lies the dilemma. Each religion defines it differently. Christianity says salvation comes through grace by faith in Jesus Christ. It assumes original sin and demands blood sacrifice, a cosmic transaction, not unconditional love. Islam emphasizes belief in Allah, righteous living, and obedience to divine law. But with its focus on judgment and predestination, many live in fear of failure rather than in freedom and love. Buddhism points to nirvana, freedom from suffering, and rebirth by letting go of desire. But for some, this can feel like detachment from life itself, a suppression of passion and connection. Across all these traditions, salvation requires strict adherence to doctrine and religious identity. You must think, live, and see the world as your religion dictates, in exchange for a promised connection with God. This is why religion frequently operates less as a means of spiritual liberation and more as a system of spiritual confinement. It is like a cage with golden bars, offering the illusion of certainty and access to the divine, while in reality restricting freedom by imprisoning both you and God within it. A cage, no matter how ornate, remains a prison. But here's the fundamental question. Why should the value of your connection to God depend on religious membership? Why should the measure of your spiritual worth be based on what religion you belong to? Christians claim salvation comes from a God of unconditional love, yet offer it only to those who accept Jesus as Lord. This reduces salvation to a religious possession, a limited resource available only through specific doctrinal channels. But if God is truly infinite and truly loving, how can salvation be so restricted? Why is a connection with God so exclusive? Why is there a middleman between you and God? Now imagine two children. One was born in a Christian family in America. The other is in a Buddhist family in Thailand. Both grew up devoted, both sought truth, both lived with compassion. And yet, according to their religions, only one may be saved. Is this divine justice, or is this human control? Salvation was never meant to be exclusive. It has always been within reach, waiting to be discovered by anyone willing to awaken to it. Salvation is putting an end to the God of religion. It isn't about God disappearing. It's about letting go of the version of God you were taught, when it no longer makes sense. Have you been surrounded by theology, doctrine, and tradition, yet your soul still feels empty? Then it's time to rediscover God. Not through rituals, not through dogma, not in the pews, but through stillness, through honesty, through curiosity. God is never confined to the pulpit or the pages of your holy book. God is always right there with you, in the silence, in the chaos, in your everyday life. This is salvation as awakening. It's not about gaining something new. It's about remembering what has always been true. You were never separate from God. You were never unworthy. You were never lost. You just forgot. And religion couldn't remind you, because it taught you to search outside yourself. It taught you to reject your intuition and accept what the preacher says. It taught you to hate anything that isn't religion approved. It taught you to deny your inner spiritual power and be ruled by the power of the church. But salvation was never waiting at the end of a ritual or the end of your life. It was always right here, within you, in the present moment, in the multitude of ways to connect to God, in the quiet awareness of your spiritual worth, your cosmic value, your intrinsic oneness with the source. Salvation is not a destination. It is an awakening, a realization that you were never separate to begin with. It doesn't come after the ceremony. It lives in the pause between breaths, in the stillness behind your thoughts, in the radical acceptance of who you are without masks, without performance. Salvation as awakening is remembering. You don't need religion's membership card. You don't need anyone to open the gates to God for you. You need only to awaken to what your soul has always carried. That you are divine. You are connected. You are loved. You are accepted. You are not lost. You are not waiting for rescue. You are the sacred. You are holy. You are the one you've been waiting for. Salvation isn't given to you by an institution. It's escaping the cultural shaping that molds you into who the world thinks you should be. Salvation is you becoming you, not who others tell you to be. Think of religion as a boat. It can carry you across the river, help you begin your spiritual journey, give you structure, community, and a starting place. But once you reach the other side, you have to be willing to walk, climb, dive, or fly. The terrain of awakening is vast, multi-dimensional. When you commit to one mode of travel for your entire spiritual journey, you reduce the infinite and yourself to one perspective, one experience, one understanding. But when you exit the boat, when you walk, fly, swim, or be still, you begin to curiously explore. And in that exploration, your soul expands. This is what it means to be truly spiritual, to stay curious, to discover, to open yourself to mystery and awe. Salvation is recognizing that everything religion promises in exchange for your loyalty, you can find within yourself. You are the light. You are the way. You are the truth. You are the creator of your own heaven or hell, and you have an unbreakable connection with God. Salvation is remembering who you are, what you are, and why you're here. It's knowing a God who loves you for who you truly are, not for how well you play the role religion assigns you. It's becoming who you were always meant to be, fully alive and fully connected to the divine within. Think about it. When have you felt closest to God? Was it in a church pew? Was it reciting a creed, or in the quiet honesty of your own heart? Maybe your deepest encounters with God didn't happen under stained glass, but under open skies, in creating art, music, or laughing with friends. Maybe they happened in doubt, in darkness, in places religion had no answers, but God was still present. And maybe you've felt that too, that strange mix of clarity and freedom when you realize God isn't confined to one religion, one book, or one building. That's salvation, that's awakening, that's enlightenment. So let me tell you, your wholeness, your liberation, your awakening, that is your salvation story. You already have everything you've been told you must earn, because you've always been more curious than certain. Know that you are not lost. You are awakening, and this message is for you. This is a message for the spiritually curious, those on a journey to discover God, themselves, and enlightenment beyond religion. Like and subscribe for more.